Alrighty, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. My name's Amy, Mystic Rose Tarot. So I haven't done a Mystic Moon Monday, even though this is a Wednesday. I haven't done a Mystic Moon episode in quite some months. So hi, Mel. Thank you for coming in. So I decide because I have Leo in my chart. It's my moon's in Leo, and we are in the sign of Leo. I figure for this episode to talk about this Leo energy, but when it is, hi Nancy, but when it's in the new moon, it's in that phase of where it's dark, we have the void. Um, and how do fire signs, I've discussed this in the past, but how do fire signs deal, or what's the best kind of way to work through? It's rush hour here. The best way to, Scott, hi, how are you? Um, so, the best way to work with this fiery energy when we're in a dark phase of the moon. And so, it's pretty straightforward. You know, when you think about it, when you have a moon that's waning, the energy is decreasing. Hi, Firefly, how are you? Thank you for all coming in. Um, the energy is waning, right? So, this is a time where once we reach that full moon, once we've reached that apex, excuse me, um, we start slowing down. You know, we when we're waxing towards that full moon, we have all this energy being built up towards what we're working towards, whether it's ourselves, a project, or anything like that. Our focus is entirely on that. But now with the waning moon and now in the new moon, which will take place this evening at 11:35, the moon will be in Leo at 11:35, 1:35 a.m. in the East Coast, 11:35 p.m. here, well, over there in the West Coast. But our new moon takes effect tomorrow, Thursday, uh, July 28th at 10:55 a.m. Now here on the West Coast and on the here in the States, we won't really see it, but that energy is still prominent. Wow. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming in. Um, so, uh, between the time that the moon enters the sign of Leo, this is when we start working on that energy. In this case, we're heading towards the new moon. So, fire signs, if it's a new moon, it's Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries. We have to learn how to contain that energy and just keep it calm, keep everything to a simmer. We may have all these ideas coming up right now, all this action that we have, but we need to just take this moment. You know, fire needs to rest, needs that moment for stillness, um, and just reserve this energy. Um, the deck that I always work with for moon readings. And I will talk about the Lionsgate portal as well, which will be next week, August 8. I'll put that towards the end of the discussion. And I want feedback from everyone about that, okay? Because that's very important for a lot of people. But the deck that I focus on for my moon readings, just hands down, the Moon Oracle. Uh, by Caroline Smith and John Astrop. So here's one of the cards. This deck works with the elements, it works with the phases, and it works with the signs that the moon ebbs and flows through. And so here, the series that they have here in the Moon Oracle deck, all the fire signs, they would go through all these stages. So here, this card would represent the fire signs of of Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. So whenever we're in a new moon, if it's a new moon in Aries, new moon in Sagittarius, this is the energy we need to focus on. We need to rest, recoup. They have the key word here, recharge. But we still see this energy still brewing. It doesn't mean that the energy of a fire sign completely stops. Again, I like the word. It's just simmering. We're just lowering down that movement, that action, and and we're reserving that energy. Okay. Now, there are two other cards I have here from this deck. which I'll talk about briefly in a moment because I don't want to sidetrack too much. Um, yeah, Scott, I think you have this deck, right? I think when you came to my channel and I was doing a Mystic Moon Monday, I think you saw this deck, um, or that you had it. It's a wonderful deck. It's not going out of my collection at all. I read with it when I can. It's a very strong deck. I really like it. Um, so let's see. Nancy, your mother, wow, fire. Wow, that's intense. Leo, Aries, and Taurus. Wow, that's amazing energy. Let's see, Mel. Yeah, it has a bit of a. I mean, this is the beauty of this because it is a bit abstract, but the way this deck works is it works through the phases of the stages of a plant's growth from the seed all the way to its fruition to when it, starts losing its petals and it starts going back into hibernation. So we have this whole journey that we see here. So this is a dormant phase of the plant's cycle. And then it starts over again, just like the moon, every 28 days, 27 and a half days to 28 days. We all have that. But I got sidetracked because I started looking at the chat. Let me just speak and then I'll jump right into it. So with Leo, okay, I did my Astro Tarot Astrology profile discussing Leo energy. It's one of the cards I showed in the image. Everything with Leo comes from the heart, how they feel, how they love, how they interact with people. It's heart-based. It's different from the water signs. The water signs is emotions. Here, Leo is the heart. So the heart has, for Leo, it's pride, courage, strength, um, and knowing how to manage through situations. The Achilles tendons for Leo is when if there's something that's criticized against them. I feel Leos take things harder than some of the other signs because of that placement. They put all their love, they put all their energy into whatever they're working towards. Performers are the first things that people think about when it comes to Leo. They have a natural personality that just feels comfortable to speak to them and be around them. Um, I feel some Leos, if you get to know them well, you can sort of feel like you can be safe in their place and being around them. The thing that we have to watch out, like I was saying, is criticism. If Leo puts a lot of their work into it, their heart, soul, and whatnot, and someone does not like it, they will be sensitive to it. They may not show, but inside it's a bit of a kick to them, and it kind of goes against them. And it does. Hey, Jezebel, and so it hurts in that way, and they will have an interesting way of expressing that kind of discomfort, either just very verbally, they'll get very defensive about it, or they'll just keep it inside and just kind of manage through it. But also for this time, this is good if someone has taken an ego hit, especially Leo. This new moon is a good time just to kind of let that energy just go. Just kind of, it is what it is. It's done. Move on. Okay. It may take a little bit longer because you literally take it to heart, Leo, but you can move forward. Um, the other two cards that I have here, I will take a look at the comments. I'm on a roll. The other two cards I have here, these two are from the Moon Oracle deck, is for this summer season. The deck goes through the goddesses, and we have Isis. Okay, Isis, the goddess of the underworld, very strong woman. And this time of the year, it's Isis. I have to look at my chart here. Hera, Isis, and the meter. So this is Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. those three signs and the goddesses associated with them represents preservation, things, maintaining, keeping things well cared for, nurture. And this sort of works well for our harvest season. We're going to have Lammas next Monday, and I'm going to do a live on Sunday about that. But Isis is about holding things to, to where they are, keeping them all safe, secure, well taken care of. And so here Isis is, and she holds the Ankh here and her staff, and her stance is very strong, very proud. And also we have the horns here representing the cycle of the moon phase. The full moon and crescent moon is my interpretation of this. And so this is someone who really takes charge and oversees things and makes sure that everything is being done in a very set fashion. Other card I have here it's related to the mansions. We have the moon mansions. So what I did here, since we're in the cusp, since we're between Cancer and Leo, this is the card that I have here. Okay, so this is the Fountain. So what I'm going to do is, with this card here, we have here Neptune and the Sun. Interesting energy. So we have Neptune relating to water, and we have the sign there of Cancer. Not the right association astrologically, but for the moon mansions this is. And then we got the Sun here to represent our North Node. Okay. So this fountain energy, I'm going to read from here. That combination of water and fire. It shows how we utilize the imagination, what's going on inside, and how we release it externally. So this is a wonderful transition from Cancer into Leo energy to represent the expression of what we're feeling inside and releasing it. Self exploring inside and putting it out for other people to see. This could be, stuff that we've been working on inside ourselves. Other projects are happening along as well. Changes that are going on. We want changes that happen within ourselves to be, self-expressed. We're very proud to see the changes that we've gone through, what we're working on, and revealing it outside. So here, we have the Sun right behind, but we have this beautiful expression. Like the Sun is fueling this energy, and it's guiding this individual to just release what they have and just express how they feel about things. So that's the fountain that we have here. And I want to see something else here very quickly. Okay. So I haven't worked with the goddesses and the moon mansions in a while, so I do have a bit of a cheat sheet here, so bear with me here. So with the lunar mansions, they go in the phases of the moon. Okay, so it's quite different from our waxing and waning stages, but it goes through each phase of the moon in each season. So for the fountain, we're going towards our tail end of summer. I will show you this chart because I have it xeroxed here. I don't know how well you will be able to see this. Bear with me here. Okay. So there you go, where it says the lunar mansions. So you see 28, okay? And you see the quarters of where each sign represents the mansions as it goes through its seasons. and it goes more in depth. It's almost like the decans, but more related to the moon phases and the signs. It's something very wonderful, and it goes really in depth. So we have our Western astrology, which is all working with the sun, moon, and rising sign. But here, the mansions focus specifically on the signs and their degree, their placement. So, like I was showing here, let's see right here. We got here 25 to 43, 8 to 34. Did I read that back? No, I read it correctly. So the top number, 25 to 43 degrees, completely different from the Golden Dawn. Okay, this is a different system. This is representing, because we got 28 signs. So this is representing this transition from Cancer into Leo. So when we go into Leo, we're 08 to 34. So it's like whenever we transition out from a sign and into a new sign, the new sign will have something like from 0 to 10. And then as it transitions throughout its cycle, we have the 10 to 20 degrees, and then the 20 to 30 degrees. And then when we go into the next sign, it goes back again, the whole cycle. For the moon, okay, for the solar signs, it's completely different, but it holds the same kind of idea. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I've explained this. I've had a few videos done, but to go back and think about it, I have to kind of change my thinking, because the way the cycle is with the moon, its placement, degree wise, is slightly different. But yes, this book, if you get this deck, the Moon Oracle deck, you need this book, just hands down. And I believe it's still available. I don't know what print it is, but this is very special. It's a very special book for me. Okay, so let me look at the comments. I'm just kind of briefly going through this quickly so we can focus on the energy right now of our new moon in Leo, and then as we go into the final phase of the new moon tomorrow morning. Okay, let me see what we have here. Let me say hello to everyone. Mel, Nancy, Scott, I got you. Check, check, check. Firefly, got you. Check. Jackie Jacaranda, hi. You're up late, Jackie. Let's see who else. Lionsgate Portal. We'll talk about that. It's the alignment of Cyrus, the sun, the solar sun of Leo, and there's one other planet, cannot recall right now, that I don't think it's Chiron. It's one other planet. There's 3 planets that align on that particular date of 8/8, and that alignment is supposed to be one that is very inspiring, very external energy. This is something where not everyone's going to feel this, but for those who are more sensitive to that kind of energy, they'll feel this kick. They'll feel this this means of wanting to go out and push and do things more. It's a very it's a very it's a time of achievement. It's a time of really feeling like this is where I need to be. Um, I haven't felt some of that, but let me see for this year, because always the month of Leo is a very strong month for me, outside of it being one of the signs of my chart. But Leo, just in general, just allows me to feel more inspired, feel literally moving here from the heart, moving forward. There's an excitement, there's that vitality that's associated with Leo that I really like during this time of the month. So I think my birth month and also Leo, those are the 2 months that I feel very strong energy wise. Oh, Scott, you haven't seen this deck before. I thought for some reason, I think you have. For some reason, I want to say that you were on my channel. I think you saw this deck, or maybe it's the Dreams of Gaia. It could be the Dreams of Gaia. But yeah, it's a wonderful deck just to work with moon energy, all the phases, and to learn more about it. The mansion cards, like I mentioned, like this one here, there's 28, so it doesn't go into great detail about the mansions. There's the Picatrix book that you could read about. I actually got a Picatrix book. There's a few, and it got really dense in information for me, and I couldn't really follow it in relation to the information that I wanted to get from it. I looked through it, but it went very much into the history and the early times of astrology, like out in the Arabian times, um, and Egyptian times. So the way they approached astrology, using the equivalent to the decans, the phases of the moon and their degree of placement, the way it was explained to me was it was a little bit hard for me to follow. So I kind of left it aside, and I decided, let me just work with this, and I'll just take information as I'm learning with this deck and apply it to what I want to do. Um, let's see here. Oh, Mel, I'm sorry, I'm going way back. Yeah, this does look very science, doesn't it? I'll go closer so you can see it. It does look like the cells when you go in the microscope and you see the details of cells. It definitely does look like that. And that's another way of seeing it too during the new moon. You're exploring some of the minutia of what's going on inside. Um, so it can be intense, but again, at the same time, it's a time just to kind of manage your energy. Firefly, your Leo and your daughter has a Leo moon. I I feel that's a wonderful relationship. I feel that's a really good connection. Let's see, Nancy, you have the deck. Excellent. Um, oh, how funny. Scott, your dad's a Leo and your stepmom's an Aries. You got the opposing. Something about those fire signs, right? Fire attracting fire. You know, that can be very encouraging, can be challenging at too, because we have that intense entity or energy. Think about when you have two signs that have similar elements. There's going to be uh, an interesting dynamic that takes place between those two signs. Let's see. Let me scroll. Hi, Julianne Victoria. Hi, Aspazia. Hi, how are you? Thank you for coming in. Um, yeah, the cardstock it's good. You can it has a nice support. I'm not cardstock. I'm picky, but I hardly do tarot reviews. This is the back. So we have one of the goddesses. I cannot, Julianne Victoria. Can you name this goddess? I'm not going to look in the book. Um, if you can name this goddess that's on the back of this, it's one of the goddesses here. But I don't want to look in the book right now. Um, let's see here. Oh, wonderful, Cal Lizzie. Hi, how are you? Thanks for coming in. Scott, you're wow, 45 years and happy as clams. Fiery clams, right? um, Virgo, and have Virgo daughter and two sons with Virgo in their moons. Look at that. Lots of fiery parents here. Aries and Sagittarius. Hi. Hi, Ange. Wow, lots of fiery parents. That's interesting. Fiery parents that produced, well, Julianne, you're Leo. Scott, I know you're Scorpio. So you had two fiery parents and they produced Scorpio energy. Um, hi. Hi, April. Thank you for coming in. Thanks for popping in. Um, Aries rising, that's Leo, that's right. Mini me. Well, we have such a mix of fiery energy. It's like fire and water, just fire right across. You think Artemis? Here, I'll show this again. You know what? Now I'm going to have to look in the book. I'm going to have to look in the book because it's going to be one of these. Let me see here. Let's see for the goddesses. Okay, so I don't think it's Artemis. It's, oh, you are right. Okay, so here's the card. And there it is. And Aries. That makes sense. That makes sense now when I think about it for Artemis, because Artemis is the goddess of fire, and she rules Aries. So that does make sense. She's taking control of the animals that are supportive of her. Yeah. Look at the way she holds them. They're so aggressive. uh, so Artemis, I have to go back and spend more time with uh, this wonderful deck so I could get reacquainted with the gods, the goddesses. They're all goddesses. There's no gods here. So with it being the Moon Oracle deck, it's all feminine energy with the exception of the phases of the moon where it goes through all the signs. Let's see here. What else? Wow, everyone is just sharing their signs here. Cal, is your dad's Gemini, mom Cancer, you Aquarius, Leo, and Virgo. Happy moon in Leo, everyone. Earth and air parents that produce an Aries with Cancer rising. That is fascinating. My parents, the ones who raised me, are Leo. My late mom, her birthday's coming up next week. Very proud Leo. And my father, Capricorn. So we have fixed and cardinal energy, and their dynamic, from what I remember as a kid, was very interesting. Mom was definitely the stronghold. She was definitely the Leo all the way in the relationship. Let's see here. Your dad was Leo, and both his mom. Wow, that had to have been intense. All three Leos in the same household. Yeah, when you get all that fiery energy, I mean, there's a lot going on. It's I don't want to say it's a competition, but I think fire signs kind of like a challenge, but they like it in different dosages. Like Aries, because they're known as the natural leaders and stuff. They welcome a challenge because it's something that they can grow from. Leo, they want to just take charge because they want to take charge. Sagittarius, they're the mutable signs, so they're I'm smiling right now because Sagittarius's energy is sort of like that Jupiter influence. They're just kind of like, yeah, let's just explore. So not really strong leadership, Sagittarius, but they have that openness of wanting to see things, explore things, and be put in different situations. And then from there, they decide, how to take care of matters. The deck is the Moon Oracle by, you see right there, Carolyn Smith and John Astrop. This is the guidebook. So it's color here, but everything inside is black and white. And there's a breakdown of the goddesses. And then, I know. Cal, Lizzie, don't laugh. I'm known to keep the plastic wrap on my decks, okay? That's the Leo side of me. I want to keep Leo and Taurus. I'm proud of what I have, and I want to keep it, secure. Let's see. Lots of Julian Victoria, lots of Leo, Sagittarius. Yes, I had one of my daughters in my birthday. We are 1 hour from 25 years apart. Wow. See, I think that's interesting. I have no children, but when as a parent, I'm guessing when you have a child that's close to you, like around the time that you were born, I've spoken to a few parents, and it's either one of two things. Either the relationship is just one of the best that they've ever had, or it is one of the most challenging because of the similarities of the immediate sign, the solar sign. So there can be that struggle, but that's where you take those charts into account and you start seeing where the challenges come in and how you can work together with it. uh, April says really difficult, but now it's great. Yeah, that's an example. And it's interesting when I speak to some of my friends that sometimes the relationship they have with their parents when they're younger is volatile or challenging, but then you get older as an adult, they either have family themselves and then they understand the parental side of what the parents went through. But sometimes it can be the opposite. There could be an old way of seeing things from the parents that they just don't let go of, and then as their child is growing up and doing things that maybe the parents don't approve, it becomes a rift. And there's going to be a lot of barriers to break through. And if they don't, and if parents aren't open to it, then obviously you as the adult, you live your life the way that you do. um, let's see here. Okay, thank you, Ange, for putting the link. Now, I don't know what version this is. I got this a few years ago. I think this is the most recent print. But if anyone gets this, Scott, if you get this, April, anyone else who has it, Nancy, I think you have it. Um, Let me know. Let me know what you think about this deck. If you do a review of it, let me know so I can watch it. Um, I spent like probably quite a few months when I first got this deck going through it because I just got so focused on moon energy. Hence why I decided to name my episodes Mystic Moon Mondays, because Monday is ruled by the star of the moon. Um, I, uh, I just fell in love with it. And where I was living at the time, I had large windows and I could see the moon as it moves um, across the living room when I would look up. I miss that place, but I learned a lot in the time that I was there. Let's see. These comments are amazing here. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your signs. Um, how is everyone feeling right now? We got the moon in Leo. We just came out of Cancer, Leo. We're going to be in Virgo in about 3 more weeks. The sign of uh, the sign of Virgo, and its opposing sign is Pisces. But I don't want to sidetrack. But just to give you a heads up, I know we have quite a few Virgos here, um, and have that kind of energy. So watch out for discussions about that as well. Let me know how you're doing. Okay, how's everyone feeling? Uh, I only have Virgo. No, I got Virgo in my sixth house. Two planets in Virgo in the sixth house, so I can be meticulous. Uh, Aspasia, my fourth child, is a Leo. He took charge from age 3. Somewhere natural, right? When you get these signs, you can tell right off the bat, like, oh yeah, this person's a straight up Scorpio. This person's a straight up Aries. This person's a straight up, Libra, so on and so forth. Let's see, Mel. My first was a Libra, and my Virgo, and wow, that's so interesting because they're right close to each other. There's another theory too that I came across, that you have your birth sign, and I've heard some people say that the best relationships are when you are two signs apart, either before or after. So whatever your sign is, let's test this theory. Whatever your sign is, your birth sign is, 2 signs back or 2 signs forward, whoever you may be involved in or if you're connecting with. Um, those are the relationships that seem to be a little bit more at ease with each other. When they're close to each other, there could be the energy can be conflicting. Um, I've been involved with more fire signs, more Aries, and I can feel Aryan energy when I'm speaking to someone, because there's a connection that happens when you speak to someone, and it feels very natural. And I start thinking, oh my God, I wonder if this is what I'm thinking. And sure enough, the person ends up being an Aries, and we get along, but there's that give and take. There's that little challenge that comes in. Let's see. Uh, Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with all the chats. Um, we got to talk about that Lionsgate. Okay. Um, let's see here. It looks okay. Aspasia. Yes, we are. We are getting a break. The next few days. Let's see if I can turn this around. We had a rainbow when I was doing my live on Sunday. So I don't think it's gonna. Yeah, all this is it's blue, but there's some clouds here, but it's getting blown out. It's still pretty warm, but not as warm. Our temperature right now it's 81 as opposed to 98 degrees about a week ago. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday supposed to be some rain. Um, so I went out for a walk earlier today, which was very nice, a lot cooler. Um, does anyone have the older version of this oracle? I want to see the initial tarot and witchery. April is asking about the older version. Um, it says it was first printed in Great Britain in 2000. And this one is 2019. So maybe this is the second edition. But that doesn't sound right. I want to say I think there's more than two editions. Um, but it could be possible that they just waited 18 years to do another reprint. But I think there's another edition coming here. The first edition, the packaging's just different. And the guidebook is, I think, looks the same. The cards are pretty much the same. The stock will probably be different if that's the case. Let's see. Yeah, see if you can find the older version if you like. But I feel this current version that I have, it's just as nice. If you want to collect and get the older version, um, eBay, Etsy, um, as Aspasia was saying, always take a look. Um, yeah, again, I think this is only the second edition. I could be wrong. Um, Scott, excellent. Use that new moon energy. Use. We're not going to see anything tonight. No moon or anything, but the energy is still there. But that moment of just being in a void and just seeing darkness is sometimes very comforting. Nothing that's distracting you. Sometimes, if if you feel like you really need to be in that void, one thing that's wonderful to do just to create that peace and shut everything off is to be in a darkened room. Not total darkness. I'm not a big advocate on being in complete darkness. um, I'm in my hermit year, and so what's very important is with the hermit, you see the hermit with a lantern. There's at least one light that is there, so you are in your own realm. But I feel it's safe and comforting to have a candle. Just one thing. Everything else can be dark, but just do some candle meditation. Look at the flame. That's very soothing. It's very calming. I started doing that, like looking, candle gazing, um, when I was exploring Eastern philosophy. And I remember going to sleep, turning the candle on, and just looking at it. and just gazing, and everything inside just felt really at ease. I felt safe. I felt more calmer. Don't overwhelm your senses with a lot of things. It's always good to keep it keep it simple. That's how I like it. I don't like to have a whole bunch of things around me. I feel it's very powerful if you just have one or two items to work with when you're doing any form of meditation. Nancy, you are dragging. Sorry, I'm really behind um, with the chats. Okay, so let's keep going. Oh, you're on a keto diet, Mel. Yeah, lots of seeds. Lots of seeds. No, I think, yeah, I think there's wheat involved. I am loving all the Venusian energy, nesting, refining, and doing so in a in a lovely Leo way. Um, Venus right now. Let me see here. I can't keep track of all these signs here. The placements. Venus right now. I'm going to go to the ephemeris. Venus. Oh, Venus is in Leo. No, it isn't. It's in Cancer. That probably explains some other things as well, because that's where my Venus is. Feeling comforted, feeling comfortable in my own environment, creating what is needed to work in your environment without having too many distractions. Venus in Cancer. And is feeling empowered, happy to get out of Cancer season, been decluttering items. Good. You know what? I think there's no right time to declutter. We go through our seasonal changes. So we're heading now towards the tail end of summer. So we start preparing. Again, like I was talking about the harvest, Lammas. Lammas is the celebration of what we've accumulated, what we have. And now it's time to start resourcing these items for our fall winter season. And that can come also in the form of also giving back to other people. If you have an abundance of things, it's always good to give back. If you have extra, if you want to release some things, but keep what you need. Don't give everything away. Keep what you feel is most important. And I think that's something to keep in mind, and I'll talk about it when I do the Lammas live episode this weekend. How do we work with what we have? How do we best utilize it for ourselves, but also for others? We have Thanksgiving, giving thanks for what we have and giving to others and sharing. Aspasia, I woke up angry and frustrated and discombobulated in general. I've been decompressing all day. It's Leo. It's Leo. It's when I did my walk today, I got burned. I got like sunburned here, and I felt overheated. Like I said, being here in the desert has been a challenge, and it's someone said it's brutal, and in a sense it is. If you're not prepared, if you haven't grown up in this environment, it does take some time to be accustomed. So it's also draining. So this Leo energy, being in the desert, which is the element of fire, it's been hard to manage. Let me drink some water here. Okay. Julianne Victoria, yes, adjacent signs tend to butt heads. Yeah, so the farther apart you are from those signs, either two before or two after, at least you get some space. Maybe even your opposing sign, right? My opposing sign is Scorpio, and I've met some wonderful Scorpios, and I can see that opposing energy where it could benefit me and where maybe it could benefit the opposing sign as well, And so it's interesting to explore those forces when you meet someone who is your opposing sign. You see what the challenge and the weaknesses is of each sign and how to work with it. Uh, let's see here. Cal is a yes, Leo moon. Yes, strong, accomplishing things, finally put my computer together and other things too. Leo moon works for me. Yeah, it's just it's a form of production that you're doing, like you're creating things, you're getting things done, but you're doing it from a place that, this is really important and it has to be done, and you're going to do it the way that you feel is best. And so this Leo moon energy, but also don't push too much. You may feel that energy probably more so when we had the full moon a few weeks ago, in Leo. But let's kind of take a moment and see how things are. If you're working on something, look at what's been completed, and don't take action just yet. That's one thing with the new moon. New moon is that time again to simmer, to kind of reflect and see, and then you start making intentions. The month of Leo for me is all going to be intentions. So when we go into this new moon in Leo this evening, I already have ideas, but now I have to start making steps to see how I'm going to get this accomplished, and the best route that I'm going to take it. But I'm not going to throw everything in at once. Here's the Virgo side of me. Everything's going to be structured in a way. It's like, okay, what's the priority? Got that priority there. There's a lot of priorities, but I got the first priority. How am I going to approach it? So yeah, Cal Lizzie, keep doing what you're doing, but don't burn yourself out. Save that energy too, okay? It's that fiery energy. Don't put too much at once. Um, I'm feeling more energized since getting to Leo. Helpful since it's a sunny blaze. Oh my God. You can have that. We've just exchanged weather, Julianne. You're 100 here. It's like 81 degrees because we have some storm clouds coming in. So I'm embracing this. I have a fan here too. Um, let's see. Yeah, see what Andrew's saying, for Aspasia. Just work each other's energies out. If everything is getting overwhelmed, just stop. You know, we can wake up. We don't know what mood we're going to be in. It could be remnants of what's happened a few days before that you're still trying to process and try to let go, or you could have like a perfectly regular day the day before you go to sleep. You may have had some dreams that kind of stir some things up, and you wake up and like, oh wow, right? So we have to change with how things are coming inside of us on a daily basis. We're not guaranteed we're going to have a great day all the time, but if you can make the best of it, challenged or whatnot, work through it. But again, let's just work. Let's not get over the top, okay? And the moon is feminine energy, so it's cooling. So think about that too for all the fire signs. Moon in Aries, moon in Sagittarius. Let's use that cooling feminine energy of what the moon has, even though we don't see it. But it's still there for us. Mel 81, a cold front. It's still warm in here because this is an enclosed area, so the heat that came down is still toasting up this area, but again, that fan's coming in very nicely. Blaming Saturn is always a good bet. So what, is someone in a Saturn return right now? I've seen, Beth, your comment about a lot of stuff going on with family. We can always blame it on the signs. We can always blame it on the planets. We can always blame it on the day of the week. This is Wednesday, ruled by Mercury. So Mercury deals with communication, how we communicate with other people. And I do this on the occasion. It's been a while. I've done a video on Wednesday, but I like to try and keep in line with the planetary rulership of each of the days if I can. So like Sundays, I do my live readings. So Sundays are actually the first day of the week for me, and I really feel good when that happens. Hi, Kristen. Sorry, I am just jabbering, and there's all these conversations going on. Um, Scott, yeah, recharging with the moon. Okay. And you being a water sign too, you'll probably feel that energy more so. Even though we're in a fire sign, the moon still holds energy for those water signs of Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. So not as much because it's not in your sign, but you still work with the energy of the moon. So I think new moons are very strong too for healing, for all the signs. Again, recharge, replenishing. My moon and ascendant are Capricorn. Saturn is my life. I don't have a Saturn return, I think, for maybe another 2 more years. I'm not even thinking about it. Uh, High Priestess energy, yes. Yes, because the High Priestess is associated with the moon. Maybe tonight, a good time to do maybe an in depth reading. Ask something, maybe a question to ask many of you. What, before you go to sleep, pull some cards and ask inside, subconsciously, internally, how are you feeling? What do you need to know? If there's something that you're trying to work on, but you're still not getting any direction, this is probably a good time to do this. Ask the cards and see what comes up. Pull a card, not like a big read before going to sleep. Um, April, tarot and witchery seems as though we are refining ourselves with an emphasis on third chakra callings, that which is that which is not in energetic alignment with our true empowered manifestation has no energy to be anymore. Thank you. I understand that. Yeah. It's again, I guess this is a good segue to go into the Lionsgate portal, a time where Cyrus, Leo, the sun, and I cannot remember the name of this other planet. I'm going to have to look this up right now. Um, there are three planets that stay all in alignment, and that gives us this energy. Also, I want to talk about the number 8. No, I guess it's Earth, Cyrus, and our sun sign of Leo. Um, with the Lion's Gate, this is all about transformation. It's with all the Asians, transformation, manifestation. This is the time on that day because of the alignment of those of the Earth, Cyrus, and the Sun, um, where we can just reach our fullest potential. Eight is actually, and this is probably why I like Leo so much, because it is the 8th month, and then we have 8. 8 is my life path number. And interesting enough, what it means kind of feels like it's something that I'm still trying to get a grasp on. Um, it deals with power, it deals a lot with wealth. Um, but it doesn't have to be personified wealth, but it could be how we use the power, how we control it, how we take those matters into our own hands for those who have an 8 year. It's also strength. We have that strength card, 8 or 11, depending on what system. I stick with 8 for the strength card because of that association with the individual and the lion energy that's there, taming our inner primordial energy, working with it. So I'm working towards things. That's all I'm going to say. And so, with that energy of AA, especially now since I have things moving ahead, this is a time to just go with it, make it happen. Remember what I was saying, manifestation, transformation. We have to all make these changes, and this is the best time to do it. And to work with those forces and use it in your benefit. and get things into balance. I don't want to talk too much because I also want to pay attention to our chat here. Scott, let's see here. Moon rising North Node are in Capricorn. Yes, I do remember when I was doing a reading for you, I did ask either your moon or rising sign, and thank you for reminding me. Capricorn, Scorpio, that's very hard. It's earth and water. They both support each other, but we have that Saturnian energy of Capricorn that, um, Scorpio wants to transform and release and get to the core of things. Well, Capricorn approaches things more in a structured manner, and sometimes that doesn't sit well with a lot of the water signs because water signs deals with movement. Scorpio is a fixed sign, but Capricorn's also a cardinal sign, so they're good at getting things started, but they also, I always say this with Capricorn needs to put some space. They need to open things up and not be so structured so that they don't feel like they're confined to one thing. I think it's very important to stay open, and whatever element of your sign is. So if you have a strong placement of Capricorn, especially in Saturn, and maybe in other places in the house of your chart, it can. I feel it can be restrictive, and it doesn't really allow you to be a little bit more open with things. Um, let's see. So we got a lot of Capricorns here, Scott, but you're doing good. You're doing good. Okay. And you know what you need to do. So that's all. That's all what's important. Do the work. This applies to all of us. We know what needs to be done. We got to just do the work. Aspasia, Beth. Leo energy, vitality, self-expression. Aspasia, earth, and more earth. Miles of earth, Scott. Uh, Kala Lizzie, bacon is nature's perfect food. I used to like bacon as a kid, but I don't like it anymore. It smells good. It gives me that reminder of when I was a kid, but nah, I wasn't a heavy bacon person. Oh, Nancy, they're gonna be suspicious of me. uh, Mel, you can't decide if bacon's better than ice cream. Oh, well, Taurus here. So Taurus, come on, we like food, but we're picky with the kind of food. So if you like bacon, Nancy, if you like bacon, I'm certain you don't like all bacon. Thank you, Cal Lizzie. I'm certain you don't like all bacon. There has to be a certain kind of bacon, right? With Tauruses, we like food, but it has to be, specific kind of food. For me, it's chocolate and mint. But I can't do chocolate right now because I'll have a big chocolate mustache all over my mouth in this heat because the chocolate would just melt all over the place. Um, Everyone's asking about spirit. Okay. Spirit is outside. He was hanging around for a little bit. He came back in, but with the temperature cooling down, I will say he is probably exploring on the other side of that fence. And he has to be back in by sundown. So I start calling him in a little bit before sundown so he doesn't go too far away. He's doing good. He's doing good. The heat, the desert heat has been hard for him because he is a mountain cat, Leo cat. He's not Leo, found him during the month of Aries, but yeah, it's different, when you're living in a certain climate for so long and then you move to something completely opposite. We find our challenges. He's doing okay. I'm making sure he drinks lots and lots of water. Very important. um Mel, a little off topic, have you seen any funny stuff in the skies? There is Arizona that we're not. What are you talking about, Mel? Was this something that was on the news? um okay, I am missing. Yeah, what do you know, Mel? What's going on in Arizona? I have no idea. Let's see here. Mars, such a little troublemaker. Okay, I'm infringing on a conversation here. Sorry. Yes, Scott, Mars is fierce. You have Mars and Pluto for Scorpio. And I think that's what I just sidetracking. That's what I like about Scorpio because they have that intensity and with me being an Earth Sun sign, I'm just like, dude, come on. It's like grabbing the shoulders of a Scorpio who's just like, oh, it's like, it's okay. It's okay. Bring it down. Bring it down. You know, I don't know if Taurus is the only sign that can do that with Scorpio. I don't know. Let's bring that energy down. Uh, let's see, Nancy. Seems like we just had Lionsgate. Time just zips by. Um, yeah, we're coming back to it next week on. Let me go back here. I'm going to show you this because I think as we get towards the end of the year, people are going to start talking about journals and planners for the end of the year. Okay, so mark your calendars 8/8 Monday. I don't know if there's a certain time of that alignment. I can look online. Um, and the moon will be in its first phase in the sign of Capricorn. So that's going to be interesting. So we're going to have Sun, Leo, Moon, Capricorn. Oh, it's back again. Hang on. You can hear the bass. Um, so the moon will be in Capricorn on the Lion's Gate, 11:38 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So Capricorn, Leo energy. I think that's actually good because we're talking about stations, right? So what do we bring in? Let's do the work on that day to make it happen. Um, oh, excellent. Excellent, April. 8 is your life path. Yeah, when I was younger and I was reading about the numerology of all the numbers and reading what 8 was about, um, I wasn't feeling it at that time, and I still am. Because I was trying to understand what they meant by the power and the control, and I was taking it literally, and that's not how these numbers work. So as time went on, and understanding doesn't have to be the physical power, literal power. It could be uh, how we use that energy into things. You know what we're bringing in. Um, for self empowerment. Mel, does the numerology work in astrology too? Like the eights are about power and Leo's power too. Is that fight or am I reaching here? Or is that right? Um, I don't think it would apply astrologically because we have nine. Well, nine, let me hang on a second. Nine is the hermit. So nine is considered to be the one of the master numbers when it comes to spirituality. And so we have that hermit, maybe not so much with Virgo, but we can maybe relate the numbers tarot wise, right? So from 0 to 10, 11, and then I think it's 22. 22, I think, is that ultimate number because it's the super number. Um, the magician, is a person who is the master of understanding and utilizing uh, the ways of communication, the ways of action, the ways of emotions. But it can also sometimes leads that number one can lead to being manipulative if it's not utilized, if that energy isn't used in the proper sense. So, me personally, I would just relate it more to the tarot and not so much to the signs. It just happened to be 8 um, is associated with Leo, But you can break it down to the signs as well if you want. 7, Cancer. 7 is also a form of spirituality. Um, and then 6, which we are this year for the lovers. I don't know what the 6 is. I think the 6, I almost want to say the 6 deals with um, partnership of some sort. I'm not certain. Beth, your life path number is 9. Excellent. I think it's important to look at all those, find out, like I did the video about the birth cards and how some of the birth cards, depending on the sequence that you lay these cards out, the major arcana, you can end up with 2-year birth cards. So for me, it's Hermit and the Moon. So if you line them up in such a way where you have, I'm trying to think, we have 9, 8. You do the full after the world, and then you start 1 through 9, okay? Then 10 to 18, then 19 to 21, and then put 22 for the full. When you line those up, and you find out what your year is, your birth year is, you'll see those cards that will have maybe even 3 archetypes to represent your current birth archetype. So you can have 3 archetypes to work with. So that can be very empowering as well. Let's see here. You're welcome, Scott. Angel food cake. I haven't had that in such a long time. Let's see. Yes, Kristen. You're a chill Scorpio. What else? I can't remember, Kristen, when we did the live and I was doing your reading. You're a cusp, right? You're Scorpio and Sagittarius. You may have some earth signs in you that may keep everything a little bit more like laid back and not so heavy Scorpio. So if you have some earth signs in your chart, that may keep things a little bit more grounded and weighted for you. But if there's a lot of earth signs, that can maybe weigh down that energy too much for Scorpio. Like I was saying, that Saturn Capricorn energy, which could just make it hard to get motivated to do things and to or to stay in a cycle. That's more what I want to say. Repeated patterns. Let's see. Okay, Jackie got some ice cream. I got some chocolate chip ice cream in the freezer. It's not coming out now. You guys are amazing. Bran cereal, blueberries, bacon. Let's see here. April. I'm sorry, I'm still scrolling, trying to catch up. I have struggled to understand 8 as my life path number, but I feel like it is finally rising in me. Glad to hear you've wrestled too. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. It's when I had a chart of mine read a long time ago. It was actually on my 30th birthday, and I had a reading, like a tarot reading done too. I was told that things were going to happen much later in life for me. Because of, I guess, the way the planets and the signs were organized at the moment that I was born and how everything was placed, that I would tend to be a late bloomer with a lot of things, some things. And I feel that's right, because I'm really pushing aside other things that normally in my 20s or 30s I would be like all over the place. They're not of priority for me. Now where I am here many decades later, I'm finding what's important for me, and so that's probably where that control, that transformation part comes in for this Lionsgate. The next, between now and August 8th, there's going to be a lot of shifts happening, and remember, signs and omens. You got to look back at that video. But yeah, there's another phase that's coming upon right now. and it feels like it's where I need to move towards. So we will see. So yeah, if you don't feel the energy of your life path number, don't force it. Don't force anything that's been given to you in a tarot reading or in a chart. Again, these are guides. These are guides and reminders of, if we're missing something, we can always look back and see what we can do to bring in that energy that comes through the cards, that comes through life path numbers, it comes through all this stuff that many of us here in the chat are working with. We don't have to take it in all at once. We take what we feel connects with us the most. And like I said, and also when you have a moon sign, emotionally, that's where all that energy is coming from. So here, it's you build this confidence, and you feel like, this is what I'm going to do. This feels right. Do it. And that's what Leo energy is all about. No one's going to stop you. Leo's fixed. Similar with Taurus and Aquarius, these other fixed signs. Once they're set on something, their belief systems, their energy, you can't really change them. You can't really change that direction. So it's very important. Yes, everyone take a look at Julianne Victoria's website. She has a plethora of information going through Vedic astrology, Western astrology, and of course tarot. So lots of resources there to look for. Jackie Jacaranda, all right. Your birth card is the Hermit, and this is, as I mentioned earlier, that's my year. So it's wonderful. And you're in the sun next year, Julianne. Excellent. Yep. And also, that's another thing to do, is look at your previous birth years. Okay. I know when we went through the pandemic, people were just like, oh, I got the Tower card, or I got the Death card. They were really emphasizing their year card of it being the Tower or the Devil, it being very heavy and stuff. I'm trying to think, the pandemic, I think mine was the Emperor. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Well, no, that was the 4-year. So I have to think back. Hermit, Strength, Chariot. I was either Chariot or Strength. I'm just thinking off the top of my head for 2022. It's a Chariot, because last year was the Strength card, and 2022 was the Chariot. So managing a lot of different things, balancing, finding that inner strength, willpower to move forward, to persevere. That was 2020 for me. But my birth card, my birth card is the Hierophant, just like Nancy. Yeah, no kidding, Scott, you and Kristen. Oh, Kristen, I wasn't saying that you had horrible motivation. I'm just saying that when a water sign has a lot of earth, weightiness, energy in their chart, that can really move anything down. Anyone who has a lot of earth signs, or anyone who has a lot of a particular element in their sign, they have to learn how to balance out those energies. It's very difficult. I'm happy I have the Taurus with me to kind of ground my fiery energy. I'm aware I'm doing a lot of things, but I have to get that moment. It's like, no, come on, pull back. It can wait. Let's see. I have 2 as my life number. Haven't read much about it. Read it, Kristen. Read about the numbers, okay? Because it adds a different dynamic into one's practice. The more you learn about all these different aspects of spirituality, you can apply apply them. But apply it to what makes sense to you, not because it's what everyone else is doing. It has to make sense. Some people can just stick to a form of divination and they won't even look at astrology because whatever they're working with works for them, you know. Huge late bloomer here as well. Yeah, but that's no big deal, you know, because here's the deal. Here's the deal, Scott. If you learn things later in life, I feel that you you become a person more at the upper end of things because you've gone through all these challenges and whatnot. Some people, they things happen to them early, right? They have their success, they have happiness, all that happens, and then as the energy as they get older, all that changes. Everything will shift for them. I think I feel happy if things work in the direction that they do, that I benefit from it because then I could share my experience. Remember, I'm the Hierophant, so the Hierophant is someone who has the experience of many different situations and they learn from it and they could share it. The Hierophant for me is like the messenger, it's the external messenger, while the High Priestess is the internal messenger. The High Priestess shares her message at a deeper spiritual realm. Okay, it comes from here. While the Hierophant, it has gone through so many different things, they've learned from it, and they have that message that they want to share with other people. Can the world handle more shifts? Well, you know, it's a perspective, right? It's all how we take it. Okay, and so that's why, you know, going through different forms of spiritual practices to kind of handle challenges is the best way to deal with things. Turn off the TV, turn off social media, you know, get off of it for a while. And when you come back, you know, you find out, and I see with some people who do posts, they find out they didn't really miss much. You know, it's like, really, that's no longer of interest to you. You know, when you vacate from something that you've been working or connecting with for such a long time, like constant YouTubing or constant Instagramming, take a break. Cal Lizzie, we got another 8 here. 8. Oh no, I do know my life path number. It is 10. Okay, that's a very strong number too. They're all strong numbers energy wise. They hold different uh, different dynamics, and the life path numbers are just lessons for us to learn from. Doesn't mean that what they mean is going to happen, but it's how we can apply that energy. Lady Kapara Ankh, thank you for joining us. How are you? Happy moon in Leo, new moon in Leo tomorrow morning. So happy moon, new moon. Let's see here. The moon card for me this past year was very apropos. 1 week left, and then the sun. Excellent. That's right. I'm not going to say when, but our dear Julianne Victoria has a solar return in Leo. So I think that moon card is very, you know, it's wonderful. I like when you get those cards for the year where that card represents more internal work. And then the next year you start coming out, you know, moon to sun. Where was I? I was strength. Now I'm hermit. So everything external with that strength card is now moving inward with that hermit card. And then next year is going to be the wheel of fortune. So doesn't necessarily mean that, but you know, you look at these energies and how they transfer from 1 year to the next with those arcana archetypes. So take a look. I suggest for you to take a look back at your previous years of those cards. Oh, it's cooled down so much. It feels so good. And just see the pattern. See how that year was for you. and look at the lessons that came from it and where you are now and where to take it. Each year should manifest change. Okay. Thank you, April. Thank you so much for coming in. Please come back and let me know when you want to connect. Okay. And I hope you had a wonderful time. So yeah, we need to look back at at what's happened in the previous years. We can have. Thank you. Oh, sips. Mel. Beer, wine, bacon, and ice cream. No comment. No comment. It's too funny. Okay, that's interesting. Well, also, you can apply your life path to the current month as well. Like I said, eight, we're in an 8 month for Leo. It doesn't necessarily have to be assigned to that Leo energy. Um, 2 is February. 2 is about balance, partnerships, harmony, creating, you know, creating things that will work for us, but balancing negative and positive energies. You may have a lot happening in different directions, so we need to maintain. We need to maintain that to keep things moving with the 2. We're going to be busy working on our intentions. Yes, most definitely. Lady Capera Ankh, you're creating. Wow. I don't know how to pronounce that. Cardoche? Yeah, this is the time. This is the time to really, you know, working with that Lionsgate portal energy. And as I mentioned, this year in particular is going to be very important. I was gonna say I was a little nervous, but I can't put that energy there. I can't put any second guessing out. Just go with what's moving forward, um, and have that courage energy that Leo represents. That confidence, like you're going to do it, and whatever happens, the intentions, the manifestations that you're going to be working on from this time onward, until we go into Virgo. Uh, know that you can go through it. Cartouche. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Got it. Thank you, Cal Lizzie and Lady Caperon. Cartouche. Um, and I feel for those who feel this winding down of the summer, and this energy of just things slowing down seasonally is the best time. Thank you, Jackie. Have a wonderful night. Thank you. I'm going to wind it up here soon. Um, is is the time to do it. This right now. So Leo energy is amongst us. Um, let's utilize it the best way that we can. It's everyone approaches their practice in different ways. So I like to work with the astrological energies of each sign, whether I have it in my chart or not. Okay, so Leo I have, so I embrace that. When we go into Virgo, I have Virgo in my chart, so I focus on that energy as well. Um, but I focus on it and I utilize it for what it represents. It focuses on your health, focuses on getting things done. You're very meticulous. So I think it's a wonderful structure when you think about it, from Cancer to Leo, from water to fire to earth. Look at the order of things with Cancer. Everything is more internal. we're caring for ourselves and as well as caring for others. We're being protective. We're holding that kind of energy. And then in comes Leo, right? So now it's time to move emotionally, physically, spiritually. Let's move this energy. Let's start being creative. You've had that time in Cancer to, to kind of take care of business. Now it's time to put it out, time to be external. Uh, and then with Virgo, Virgo is ruled Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So we're looking at the mind, we're looking at um, communicating in a way that is very precise, asking questions. Virgo is a sign that asks questions. If you don't ask questions, it becomes more difficult. I feel for a Virgo to get things done, they need to know as much information as possible to get to where they want, and that applies to all aspects of their life. So it's nice to see that kind of process through the signs and through the elements and what they all represent. There seems to be a lot of psychology in astrology. There is when you really think about it. When you break it down and you do the profiles of all of these signs, um, there's revelations that come up, and you see the psychosis of how some of these signs are in different situations and how they view things and how they see things. Let's see, that's the only kind of astrology that ever interested me. Yeah, we have astrology. We have the general term astrology. And then when you break it down, we have the psychology. We have the emotional part of astrology, which I want to lean a little bit more towards the mood, you know, those feelings. Then we have the Vedic astrology, like Julianne Victoria. She practices Vedic astrology and Western. So that covers a different aspect of astrology. We have medical astrology. Um, and we could break it down. We have spiritual astrology. We have astrology for our pets, for our animal companions. It's a whole smorgasbord of different ways of seeing things. you know. But yes, there is a lot of psychology involved in it, and especially as an adult, when you reflect back on either your chart or someone else's chart that you've been reading for quite some time, you see patterns, you see things that are missing, you see things where there's too much of. It's very fascinating, and I think that's why astrology is so interesting, because I call astrology the social security card to someone's persona. And so I've already mentioned a few times, but there are some astrologers who will not share any of their uh, astrological sign placements online for fear or for protection of someone who may want to use it against them, you know, and and maybe discredit this person because they're this particular sign, planet, house, so on and so forth. Yeah, it is, Julianne. It is. It's like a window into someone's inner workings. It's something that we don't see. Well, we see physically. There's some of the physical attributes that are assigned with astrology, but the emotional, spiritual side. When people ask, why is this person like this? It can come from that chart, but also don't weigh everything down to an astrology chart, because there are some charts that I feel don't really fit the person entirely. I mean, it's your environment, the environment that you grew up in, how you're raised. There's all these different influences. Okay. So there could be a chart that is supposed to signify a person's persona and whatnot, and some of it just doesn't fit. There's some people who say that they look at their chart And they're like, I don't identify with any of this. Okay. That, I would say that's probably valid when you're younger to say, oh, this doesn't make sense. Give yourself time. You grow into it as an adult because you're still building up, you're still building up who you are. Maybe as an adult, when you get older, some of these aspects make sense. I look at my chart and there's some things that I go, I don't see this fits me, but maybe it's still down the journey for me, or it's something I need to pay attention to. Let's see. Beth, my sun is in my first house. Anyway, does that mean that Sun in Leo will affect my first house in a Leoness? Wait, sorry, I'm. um, Julian Victoria is the Astro Pro, but my experience with the first house is the external. It's how people see you, like the first impression that they get from you, like how you dress, how you carry yourself. I have a fire sign in my first house, but people never guess my sign, which is kind of interesting. I would think it's obvious, but some people don't. The sun, if the placement of that sign Leo is in the sun, that will definitely reflect who you are externally. Leos, one thing I forgot to say is Leos are sometimes known to have wonderful manes of hair. They're supposed to have really nice hair. That's just a side note. So yes, if Julianne Victoria wants to add on to it. So the first house again represents surface. There's some people that they say their first house is in a sign. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. And that could change by the planet that sign is in. So if their sign is in a fire sign, more of an external sign, but let's say it's an Earth planet. Let's say Saturn and maybe Leo in the first house. May not come across because Saturn has that energy of where it can restrict that movement, and it could also challenge that Leo energy. So sometimes it can be hard to decipher based on that planetary influence for that sign in that first house. Uh, I'm going to read Julianne Victoria's comment here. Everyone's sun is in one of the 12 houses. And yes, Sun and Leo in the first house makes your first house very Leonine. Sorry. Is your rising Leo or Cancer? Okay, Capricorn. Beth, you say you are wrong? Okay. Your sun is in the 8th house. Okay. See, it's confusing to read these charts. If you have a chart that's just self-explanatory and it breaks down all the signs and planets, like it's written out, it's easier to understand. But if you look at a chart, like here, I'm going to show you. Oh, I got sidetracked. Oh, wow, I was going to show you this planner. Yeah, I'm just going to show you this really quick solar return. When you look at it like this, you kind of have to spend time and see where all the placements of the houses are, the signs, the rising, the moon, where they are for that year. So it can be a little confusing, but if you spend time and look at it and write notes, and go back to it a few times, it starts making sense. Lady Kapara Ankh, as a Pisces, I'm extremely uncomfortable with water. My Taurus ascending loves the forest more. That's interesting. You're uncomfortable with the physical sense of water, like swimming or the ocean. That's interesting. And I shouldn't say that all water signs are going to like water. There could be some water signs they don't know how to swim. And maybe it could be that fear. Water represents the unconscious, the unknown, not knowing what's in there. And yes, I know there are people out there who are scared of large bodies of water like the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. They see this great, vast, um, mass of water. It's extremely powerful. Um, but I'm not saying that's because of water signs fear. That could actually be a physical fear of water. Uh, Leo in the eighth house. Beautiful. That's very maternal. Eighth house, dealing with relationships. Very protective, I would feel. Um, I cannot remember what the 12th house represents. Been a while since I've said my mom was quite good. The 12th house deals with secrets, um, karma. Um, it's the 12th house is almost like um, dealing with things that we don't really want to face. I call the 12th house the house of karma. My moon is in Capricorn in the 12th. I have so much Capricorn. Capricorn's a wonderful sign because it does create, it does create that foundation of stability, but it can also create restrictions too, and not wanting to grow, move, or change. So that's just my experience. And I have Capricorn in my chart, not a lot, but it's placed in a good area, but I'm also challenged by it too, because I feel like I want to get more from it, and it's not happening, and that's my doing. I have to change the direction of how things are going for me if I want to, make something happen. That's good, Mel. Your chart has more empty houses than used. Um, I have all of us, for the most part, have empty houses, and I think I mentioned this when I did readings over the weekend. When you have empty houses, those are areas where they're not blocked. There's no signs or planets placed in that house, so there's no conflict or challenge or anything. When you look at the placement of the signs and planets in other houses, and you see the activity that's going on in those houses with the signs and planets, that's where the work needs to be done. There's some really interesting charts that look that just amaze me. Well, let's say this area of the chart, a whole bunch of activity, a whole bunch. It's just like clustered. It's cornered in one area, and everything else is open. Those are fascinating for me, just visually the way it looks, but also when you look at where those stelliums are all clustered in. It's just like, wow, that can be very intense for someone. Let's see here. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Julianne Victoria. For Mel, they are still at work in your chart by the rulers. They still hold things, but there's no activity and other planets and signs in that particular chart. Um, no, Kristen, you said you did a chart, but it doesn't match me in most of the descriptors. See, that's another thing of what I was saying is that it could be just that there's still time for you to grow. I think too, another perspective is when people say that their chart doesn't represent them. I think it's I think in a way it's almost a self impediment that that's not really allowing that individual to just move, like you're holding yourself back and you're not allowing what's happening in your chart to go to work. Does that make sense? So you look at your chart, and like I said earlier, there's some stuff in my chart that, you know, in some of the houses like this, I don't get this, and it's just that I need to be more open to it, or I need to see it in a different perspective. But you have to be open to it. You have to um, see what the potential is. And that's what most astrology charts are. It shows the potential, it shows what's there that could be waiting for you if you put it to work, if you understand it. Let's see. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you so much. Okay, I will wind it down. You do not like hot water on my head. Okay, with cold rivers, lakes, but no oceans for me. Okay, see, that's what I was saying. I think it's just the force, the large body of water. Swimming pools, like Olympic-sized pools, anything like that, that just looks um, immense, can be overwhelming for, I would guess, maybe some of the water signs. I like swimming because I have to get back into it, but it's healing. I feel it does do a service. The same with fire energy. Fire energy is very purging, is very releasing. And I love working with fire energy when I have my fireplace. But understanding that air for purifying and for sending out messages, and then of course earth for that groundingness. So it's working with those aspects in a very clear way. Okay, your moon's in the 12th with Uranus. Wow, I have to think about that because the 12th house is ruled by Pisces. It goes through all the signs, right? And the first house is Aries, and we end with the 12th house in Pisces. Uranus, that's an air planet. Oh, excuse me. So sorry. Yeah, lots of last minute shifts with Uranus, unexpected changes. Um, Also, a little bit of eccentricity can be assigned with Uranus. Technology, not so much in the 12th house. Wow. Um, let's see, it seems to be a shadow house as well, just saying 12th house. A lot of intense, grinding shadow work. Pisces are always misunderstood. Yeah, Pisces are the most mysterious, I feel, of all the signs. Um, they they don't reveal very much of themselves. They just kind of let you know that something is happening, and that's about it. And that's as much as they'll say until it's time to um, release and show what's going on. Beth, you have moved a lot and lived all over. It's interesting. I feel like Capricorn in other ways. Beth, where's your Mars? Because you said you moved around a lot. Curious where your Mars is. My moon placement, moon in Cancer, Scorpio, yeah, and with the Pisces, Lady Capera. That's why you're so deep with your practice, Lady Capera. I see your videos, and you are into you go in below the spectrum, and this isn't negative. You go in really deep. You go into territory that some other people just they want to explore, or they don't quite understand, but you go in it. There's nothing to hold you back from it. Thank you, Mel. You are so welcome. Yes, Nancy, as well. Thank you as well. I know it's getting late for the East Coasters. It's about 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Um, you saw Jaws. Yeah, Jaws kind of freaked me out too for a long time. It freaked everyone, and it probably put uh, all the beaches on standby. Lifeguards increased and whatnot. I remember Jaws very well. That was very frightening. Cal Lizzie, eccentric? Well, what do you think? Lake Apparel. Yeah, when you're, and I can get like that, inward focus, but again, it depends on, what's going on with me. And my inwardness comes in during the phases of the moon when they're either new or full in the water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, um, and Cancer. If any of those water signs are in any of those phases of the moon, Cancer, I go definitely inward. Scorpio, I go inward, but you know what, Lake Apparel, I go inward like you. I really go. I want to go a little deeper with my practice. There's a difference. And then our other water sign. I'm drawing a blank because I'm getting tired. I'm so sorry. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Um, Pisces, Pisces for me becomes more of a spiritual, analytical approach to my practice because Pisces is the unconscious. So the experience I get with Scorpio, with the intuitiveness, and the Cancer of just being more inward and just kind of feeling comfortable with how I'm feeling. Pisces goes a little bit deeper, but more like for understanding of what's going on. It's very interesting. Alrighty. You're welcome, Julianne. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch. Mars is in your 12th house, at least in my notes from my astrologer. It says Mars 5 degrees. Capricorn 12th house, so Mars 5 degrees, Capricorn. You said your moon was in Capricorn, Beth? I think I may have misread. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too clear on what you were mentioning. Um, but like I've been told my whole life that I'm extremely self-absorbed. Yeah, that's totally fine. It's whoever you are. That's all that matters. People will respect that part of who you are, um, and they'll either take it or leave it. And I like the water signs because there is a lot to learn with what we can't see. We feel, but there's a lot more to grow from it. But with repetition, it will sink in for me. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Mel, I'm really happy to see that you are exploring the astrology. You just take it little by little. The first place you start, of course, is with your chart. You when you're learning something, especially of this kind of practice, tarot, whatnot, you want to apply it to you. You want to learn a little bit about you, um, and and that's where the interest comes, and you explore from there. Like, so for someone who's having some issues, they go to divination because they want to learn and understand about themselves. That's why I don't do third party or predictive answers or questions. The question should be involving you, not someone else. It's so important. Yes, Moon in Capricorn, 12th house, according to my notes. I'm at a loss to explain any of it. Yeah, the 12th house. So Moon in Capricorn. Okay. Capricorn, when you kind of think about this too, it's a sign, the card of the devil. Okay, so the devil deals with things that we may be bound to, um, things that may not be in our best benefit, but we hold on to it. It's like holding on to that thing that's so good, but it's not really good for us because we need to let go so that we can move on. And so that in that 12th house, I can see it as representing, this is stuff that only you know, of course. And it's stuff that will make it a bit of a challenge to work through because we need to let go of it. My 12th house, is in Chiron. I'm not going to say what sign it is, but it's a sign of which involves um, healing, which Chiron does anyhow, but at a deep level. And so it's been interesting to journey through that and kind of understand it a bit more. See what's going on with that energy. So it's 12 signs, 10 planets, 12 houses. I'm happy that's all there is. Well, there's the asteroids and there's other things. There's a lot to take in, but start with the basics, and break it down like that. Um, Other people are highly overrated. Is that your card, Lady Capera? Are you a magician? Is that your card? Your birth card? If so, I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's we take things for face value, but we have to always look deeper in, and that's where everything comes in that place. You know, Move in that direction. Alrighty, okay, we're about 2 hours, so I am going to so many mysteries, and it's lifelong. The entire, and I'll keep saying it over and over again. It is lifelong, and it's something that I hope many of us on YouTube and whatever who share their experiences, their astrology, tarot, divination, so on and so forth, um, will continue to share. Share the experiences, share what you've shifted from and where you are now. Not everything's going to be hunky dory, right? There's gonna be some of us who are gonna share pain and whatnot. I prefer not doing that publicly because it is something very personal for me. But for other people, they need to reach out that way. So it's all part of our life process. So on that note, um, Lady Capri said more of moon hermit cards. I think I've always liked to be alone with my cats. Well, I love cats. I love animals, dogs, creatures. I enjoy my time with spirit. I'm hermit moon year, so this everything is being internal. So when I think about those two cards, when they come into my head, I have them on my altar, and they're going to stay there as reminders. To not stray far and to stay looking within. Find use the light that we have within us to kind of guide us. Trust us, and anything that we meet along the way, we learn from it. It's wonderful. Let's see here. Love to. Okay. All right, everyone. You have a wonderful night. Bacon, beer, wine, ice cream. I think those were the 4 things that were discussed. Angel cake was with Nancy. Um, I'm going to probably have a little food and then some ice cream to keep myself cool right now. So, everyone, I will see you all. Hopefully, this weekend I have my live for Llamas. I will be doing a reading for that. Cereal, there we go. Thank you, Cal Lizzie. Um, so I will be doing meditative reading to bring in this, which is Sabbath of Llamas or Lunisad. I will be doing it on the 31st, and keeping this discussion open, and or keeping the discussion open. See, I'm getting tired. Um, and let's start talking about our intentions for the fall. All right. So thank you again, everyone, for keeping me company. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you again by Sunday. I may do something else beforehand if I have time. If not, I will see you Sunday. All right. Thank you again, everyone. Happy New moon in Leo, utilize that energy. Set intentions, set intentions, set intentions. Lady Capera Ankh is already working on hers. Okay, so do the same for you. Okay, see you later.